Now, President Barack Obama is planning to block the sale of new offshore drilling rights in U.S. Arctic waters. The move could see oil production in the Arctic and parts of the Atlantic restricted indefinitely. Obama is expected to invoke a provision from a 1953 law. Despite being a victory for environmentalists, industry representatives say the decision is politically motivated and could have detrimental effects on local community. However, the proposed ruling could be overturned by President-elect Donald Trump in a process that's likely to take months or even years. Well, for more on this, our editor-at-large, Craig Kapitas, joins us live from Paris. Craig, good to have you on. Now, it seems like they had to dig real deep for this one. How did this obscure Outer Continental Shelf Act law come into being?
Well, we have to go back even further to 1896, the city of Summerland, California, when the people discovered that there was this black stuff percolating near the shore. And they discovered that the closer they got to the water, the easier it was to drill for oil. So they started building these giant piers heading out into the sea, the first offshore wells. Then come 1910 is when the United States and pretty much the world went on a full-time oil economy. So offshore drilling went full tilt boogie. And then by 1949, you had the first real offshore wells off the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana, and Texas, and there were 11 of them. So the government in '53 figured that they had to figure out a way to start selling leases, which they did. And there was a provision in these leases that allowed the permanent withdrawal of the lease for environmental or other reasons. And that's how it happened.
Okay, so let's talk about when President-elect Donald Trump takes office. How likely is it that A, he will try to overturn this decision, especially considering his pick for Secretary of State? He has an oil background. And B, can he actually do it?
Yeah, he's going to try and overturn it, and yes, he can overturn it. It could take years, it could go through the courts, or it could go through Congress. But there, depending on where you sit on this, offshore drilling is essential. I think people will be surprised to learn that there are more than 27,000 offshore wells in the Gulf of Mexico right now, for example, but only 304 of them are operational. The others are kind of dead, but not capped. Now, since 1959, for instance, the state of Alaska has made $157 billion from oil. And the geologists say that the waters off of Alaska contain more than 30% of the world's energy requirements. So for Donald Trump, it's Merry Christmas. Let's drill.
Okay, Merry Christmas. So you're talking about it's being essential. Talk to us about what the cost benefit of President Barack Obama triggering this law is. I mean, we know it's environmentally friendly, but is it oil industry friendly and consumer friendly?
Sure, you're going to have, they claim you're going to have cheaper energy prices, which is probably true. When you're looking in the Arctic right now, they currently have about 27 billion barrels of oil, which they haven't dug up because there's no offshore drilling, and close to 14 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. Now, I know that's a lot of numbers, but those numbers add up to one of Trump's campaign promises: oil energy independence in the United States. And that is what the public looks to have voted for, so Trump is going to push this as much as he can.
Okay, our Craig Kapitas joining us live from Paris. Thank you.